This week, I randomly came across an interview from a couple of years ago, and I decided to watch it. And I was really surprised how much it resonated with me because it was from Lady Gaga, who I don't necessarily follow too much, but she was being interviewed and she was asked a question about another celebrity. And her response was, I don't understand this incessant need to constantly go on and on hating things all the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, we really do live in a time and place where this idea of judging things and hating on stuff is really just kind of a normal thing that all of us do all the time, right? And I was trying to think back of like when it started, and I really feel like, with reality shows like American Idol, where like people go on and we as the public get to judge whether or not they're good enough to go on to the next round, with social media and like how many followers people have and how many people have watched your video, right? It's all this like feedback and people judging, even on YouTube when it's like the up or the down, it's like, are you judging? Why don't everybody judging everything all the time, right? And I realized that we do it because everybody does it. It's been so normalized now. And I honestly feel like social media, our personal media, the media outlets, TVs, music, they really do perpetuate this idea of judging, but also like negatively judging. Think about award shows where there are people going hot or not, or like this is a mess, or this is beautifully fashioned. So we're constantly like judging all the time, right? And I think that trickles down from Hollywood and celebrities, and it tends to get ingrained in us as people who are just walking around, going to work, dealing with our neighbors, dealing with our kids. We're just like constantly judging. So I was trying to think of like ways that we could begin flipping this judgmental script, right? Last year I read Gabrielle Bernstein's The Judgment Detox, and there were some really good nuggets in there about how to break the cycle. That book in particular was for personal judgment cycles or styles, and so that was really good for me because I got to learn what my judgment style is and how it is that I deal with my judgment and begin breaking that cycle for myself. So how is it that we kind of collectively, like individually but collectively, could like work on our own personal judgment and begin shifting from constantly judging and constantly hating to maybe a more inclusive way of interacting with people? So I thought of these three things, and I've actually been implementing these three things since I read The Judgment Detox. So I wanted to share them with you because I think that you may find them helpful. So the first one, and I think that with any kind of behavioral, mental, emotional change, the very first step is you always take an inventory. So that would be our first step here too, right? When I first started, I actually bought a little notebook that was about the size of an index card. I carried it around for a week. And every time I had a judgmental thought or I said something that was judgmental, I wrote it down in this book. And I didn't judge it. I wasn't like, oh, Amber having judgmental thoughts again. I just was like, that's pretty judgmental. I just like wrote it down in this book, right? So at the end of the week, I went through and I started rereading all of my judgmental thoughts. And from there, you can kind of begin to see why you're having judgmental thoughts, when they come up, if you're around a certain person, if you're in a certain environment, if something is said to you, if someone behaves a certain way, right? These judgmental thoughts tend to pop up in similar situations throughout the week. At least it did for me, right? So I began to take an inventory, and I was like, okay, at least I know like why I'm having these judgmental thoughts and where they're coming from. And then I began shifting them. What could I have said or thought instead of that like judgmental thought or whatever, right? So just taking an inventory. I did mine for a week. You could do yours for 2-3 days and just see what comes up. If you're really judgmental, a week may be a long time, right? But just taking a little bit of an inventory to see where you are with your judgmental thoughts. And the second one, which is something that we learned as children, I still implement it with my friends and my clients. I do it with negativity. So if someone says something negative about themselves or someone else, I do it mostly when they do it with themselves. They say something negative about themselves, I go, all right, now you got to say 3 nice things about yourself. And with my clients too, if they start hating on themselves, that's it. You said 2 mean things, now you have to say 6 nice things about yourself, right? For every judgmental thought you have 3 more that are positive or supportive or kind of flip the script on that judgment, right? So let's, for example, say someone walks by you in a crazy fucking outfit and you're just like, ugh, that outfit is ugly. All right, that's your one judgmental thought. So now you get to say 3 nice things. Well, she's walking her dog and she has her dog on a leash, and I appreciate that. She does have some really good hair. I like the way her haircut fits her face. And she said hello to me when she walked by, so that was nice, right? For every judgmental thing, you say 3 things that are nice and make this a habit. When you start making this a habit, when you have judgmental thoughts, or when you see something that you want to judge, your mind will start going towards the positive instead of sticking with that judgmental. So start making it a habit and allow it to sink in. And the third one is to adopt a motto, something that you can say when your judgment starts coming up. So for me, my judgmental motto is you do you and I'll do me. They do them and I'll do me. Because I don't need somebody judging me from afar either, right? I don't want someone else hating on me, giving me that energy. No, thank you. So by allowing other people to do what they're going to do without judging them and hoping that they'll pay me that same respect. So Gabrielle Bernstein in The Judgment Detox talks about how you can re-choose. Whenever you have judgment come up, you can re-choose. You don't have to stick with that judgmental thought. Acknowledge it and say, all right, I had that, and then choose something else, right? She says to choose through love. I decided that I would like to choose through mutual respect. How would I want someone who's being judgmental towards me to re-choose so that they could view me respectfully? And so I try to think about that in terms of flipping it around, right? Like, if instead of being judgmental, how can I show this person the most respect in this moment? And then I re-choose through that frame. So, just throwing it out there. There is no need to there's no incessant need to constantly hate or to judge. We can re-choose whatever it is that we like. So, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next week.